Now, don't mess with Sky News and with our freedom of speech, because the Karma bus has just knocked down this guy. Russell Skelton, a former colleague of mine at the Age newspaper and now head of an RMIT fact-checking unit. Now, as I told you last week, another of Skelton's fact-checking arms over there at RMIT University was paid by Meta, owner of Facebook, to fact-check Facebook posts. And for a left-wing organisation like Skelton's, this was gold to go for Sky News and for the No campaign for The Voice. For instance, in one 7-week period up to June 23, Skelton's RMIT FactLab targeted 17 anti-voice opinions or views, but didn't check a single fake claim of the yes side. How about that? And it all came to a head when Skelton's censors went too far, even for the ABC's Media Watch, by slapping a face information warning on a post by Peter Credlin, my Sky News colleague, when she argued the Uluru statement that the Prime Minister says he wants to implement in full is not just the one page we were told, but also 25 other pages of background information.
Should Facebook have labelled her claim false? A spokesperson for Meta told Media Watch it wasn't us.
This fact check was applied by an independent fact checker and not Meta.
And that is true. But it was Meta that slapped it on. And given that there may be some point in what Credlin is saying, we think a disputed label would be more appropriate.
But now, justice. Joining me is the man who blew the whistle on Skelton, Jack Houghton, digital news editor here at Sky News. Jack Houghton, thank you so much for joining me. What's happened?
Well, Andrew, it shows that sunlight really is the best disinfectant. Meta has blocked RMIT FactLab out of its systems. It's banned from doing any more of these so-called fact checks that it has been targeting Sky News with for several months. There's a whole number of them. The most famous one that you would be aware of is the Peter Credlin fact check, where they declared it was false to suggest the Uluru Statement to the Heart document was longer than one page. It's a political issue, but obviously these fact checkers deemed it their responsibility to adjudicate. It's rather extraordinary, though, because this comes after an investigation that we have dubbed the fact check files, where we've uncovered foreign funds were being paid to RMIT by Meta, specifically to police voice referendum content. So Meta has now suspended them. They've said they're going to have to go and get re-accredited, if they're going to even be able to do that, before they're going to get access again. So it's really a huge win for Sky News Australia and a huge win for the freedom of speech.
Well, let's see what the ultimate decision is and whether Russell Skelton's outfit changes their tune, their bias. But what forced Meta to take this action?
Well, three key factors. The first one is that RMIT staff have been tweeting out a whole bunch of non-partisan content, which is a breach of the Code of Principles of the IFCN. So, for example, Russell Skelton, who you've already mentioned in the lead up to this, he was tweeting out content that had Linda Burney's slogans advocating for the yes voice all over it. So he was publicly advocating for the constitutional change of this referendum. That's a huge no-no. Another activist who works there, Renee Davidson, she was tweeting out content of the likes where she referred to Peter Dutton as a fear-mongering racist. She was personally responsible for a whole bunch of fact checks, some on that same very topic. So that's one side of it. The investigation also showed that RMIT was not even accredited. So Facebook has these rules that it tells everybody, it's promised governments all over the world, promised that it adheres these rules, and it has this accredited system that's policed by this body called the International Fact-Checking Network. Well, 8 months ago, they were no longer expired. So RMIT has been censoring Australian journalism for 8 months without any accreditation at all. Now, once Meta was made aware of that, and then the instances of impartiality breaches, it was really there was no decision left. They had to go. There was also a third factor, unduly targeting one side of the debate. Now, we at Sky News did analysis of these fact checks after they came onto our radar, and 17 of the 17 between May and June that we analysed were all targeting people who were expressing opinions against the constitutional referendum, which is completely against the rules. There was heaps of stuff from the Yes campaign they could have fact-checked, but instead it was being used as a partisan activist body using foreign funds to influence our referendum. Meta obviously had to cut ties to save face and to, show that their entire apparatus isn't biased. But it raises questions. 8 months they were able to do this, and it took Meta a long time to act.
Oh, well, congratulations on you for exposing it. Congratulations on Elon Musk, owner of Twitter, for retweeting it to actually bring more attention to it. And also thanks to Senator James Patterson for writing to Meta demanding some response to all this. Finally, Jack Houghton, what does this mean for Sky News viewers?
Well, what it means for Sky News viewers is this referendum, we are going to keep bringing you news, accurate news, great debates. We're going to keep covering all sides of this referendum because it's important. It shouldn't be something that's decided by academics. It shouldn't be something that's decided by foreign companies who are pumping money into our country to influence debates. It should be decided by you, by Australians. And this means we're going to be able to have that debate, and it'll be left up to Australians. There's a famous saying, Andrew, that there is never a wrong result in an election. The public always makes the right decision.
Jack Houghton, thank you so much for your time.
Thanks for having me, Andrew.